start recording.
Well, who's going first?
I don't know. Let's see. So we have our 50th episode already recorded.
Yeah.
And that's sitting in the bag. I think we have 48 episodes up now, so this would be number 49. That could be the 5 most surprising games, 5 most disappointing games, or 5 one-shot movies that were not worth another viewing. Which obviously doesn't mean it's not worth another viewing. It just means it's not as good after that. And then
Easy, something spoiled.
usually after the second viewing, because a lot of times you want to go back and see things. After the second viewing, it's really not as good anymore.
There'll be one of those that we both are in lockstep on. But
I guarantee it. If not two, yeah. All right, let's do that one.
all right, let's start with that one then.
All right, let me mark 48 next to it just so I have it. And you want to go?
Sure. That's not even a good lead-in. You want to go?
Would you like to partake as being the first person to decide what is a one-shot movie to you?
Should we define what one shot means?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you do that. You're better at that stuff. Your leprechaun's better than mine.
I'm feeling lucky indeed. Yeah, I wish.
Leprechaun. I wear my lexicon shirt.
Hey, you got it, lexicon. One shot movies are movies that are good or great the first time, but have no replay value. No, probably all these are gonna have like twists and stuff in them, but that's what we call a one shot, like one viewing and you're good to go for the rest of your life.
And as we talk about them, I got a feeling we'll probably explain some of it too, because like I said earlier about the second watching.
Obviously spoilers. But I'm going to start with the one that I'm sure you'll have, and that's Usual Suspects.
Well, that is on my list. And that's actually a perfect example of why I say there's usually another viewing, because it's kind of neat to go back and see all the different things. But then after that it's done.
Worth that second time, like 10 minutes in, I'm like, why do I care?
I watched it twice. That's it, literally twice.
But I couldn't even get through the second time. I'm like, you know what? None of this means anything now because I know him sitting there staring at that board.
That one's a little rougher just for the fact that it is all on the board at the end. But now
sitting in that, and why are they showing him staring at that wall? And now you're like, okay, now I know why. So there's nothing. And then him telling that story means nothing. So it's just kind of ruined.
I didn't even notice he was really staring at the wall. I just thought he was being weird. Kaiser Soze.
It's just one of those things. The first time, like, why did they show that scene? Him staring at a board. What's the big deal? I'm like, oh, okay.
But it worked for that movie. I mean, it was a really good movie. It's just one shot.
I would never watch it again.
Now the one. All right, so I'm going to say mine, and you probably have this one also. This one does have replay value, but the one shot of it really is done once you've watched it, and that's 7.
No, I don't agree on it at all.
No?
Oh, I think that movie still hits hard. Even I've seen it like 50 times.
Oh, don't get me wrong. It's a good movie, but for me, the one shot is, spoilers to anyone who hasn't seen this, skip ahead 45 seconds and go find this damn movie and bookmark it. Gwyneth's head in the box. Once you know that's coming, the impact's gone.
No. For me, I think it's actually more impactful knowing, because you watch the entire movie and you're like, they're so in love, and you know what's coming. That's even more tragic.
You think so?
I do. I've seen it. I can't. I always will watch that movie. I don't agree with that.
When Pitt's freaking out and he's barely holding the gun up and he's like, "What is it? What is it?"
Well, yeah, I know nothing complete, but I still think it's more impactful, even in subsequent viewings, because it's more tragic. Because once the shock wears off, you can appreciate, like, oh, these two are actually like in love and they're trying to make it work and everything's trying to go, and then it's done.
Well, and that's so for me, and I respect your opinion on that. Don't get me wrong. For me, this is the one where it was better than Usual Suspects, where it had a lot more replay value too, watching it again, like, because the killer, Spacey's character, is on the stairwell in that scene, and you got to rewatch it for that. So for me, even though it was a one shot, that's where I say one shots even get a second viewing sometimes. But don't get me wrong, I'd watch it again. It just doesn't have the same, to me, and I respect your opinion, but to me it didn't have the same impact anymore after All right.
Fine.
I still think we're going to have one on here that we both agree on, though, still.
Okay.
Besides Usual Suspects. The Usual Suspects is the ultimate one. Once you watch it, you're pretty much done. All right. Go.
Sixth Sense.
Yep. That's on my list also. It's that's a damn good movie.
It is.
It's no special effects, very well done. My only problem with it is, and I think I told you this story, somebody told me I would never guess it, and because that's all they said to me, I guessed it. But it was
I,
still good.
I did two opening weekend. It was in the paper. It's like, you'll never guess the ending. I'm like, well, he's probably going to get killed. And I'm like, but that's not a big enough twist. I said, he's already dead. And the thing I couldn't figure out is, how did the kid not know? But it turns out he did.
So that leads me to think about something that I've been meaning to talk to you about. Not to get this off track too much, but the Signs,
Yeah.
one of his movies. The aliens are demons. That's a theory.
Yeah, holy water.
Yeah, and he's a priest.
Yeah. But that doesn't explain how the other aliens around the world were being defeated.
No, but I thought it was still a nice little touch.
If it would have just been happening at his house, then yeah, that would have been like, oh,
That and I mean, I guess they're aliens. I was gonna say their body has to be made up of some form of water, but I guess they're aliens. Could be mercury. Who knows?
that's one of those where if you nitpick it too much, it falls apart. But I still enjoy watching it.
Yeah, yeah. It's not a great. It's one of those ones I call a fun movie.
Yeah.
The acting
Now,
is good in it.
you and I saw this one while we're on the subject of M. Night Shyamalan. We saw it together, The Visit,
The Visit.
where they go to the grandparents' house.
I never saw The Visit.
Hey, you did. You were sitting next to me when we saw it. Up in Green Bay, we saw it at the theater. The two kids go to the it's a found footage movie, and the two kids go to the grandparents' house, and they're freaking out because their grandparents are acting all weird.
Why does that sound horribly familiar?
That has to be and watch the damn thing.
That sounds really familiar, and part of me says that it was awful.
No, it was good.
Am I thinking something else then?
Yes.
The Visit. You know, so you're telling me I saw this with you, and I 100% believe you because it sounds so. Oh.
Remember, we both watched like the twist is so simple that we should have seen it coming, but we never did.
I don't remember it. Don't tell me. I kind of want to see it again.
Okay, yeah.
Is it on your list?
No. I was because we're talking about M. Night Shyamalan.
That's kind of his thing. Is
The Village was terrible.
I never saw The Village, but I know what it is. Devil is pretty good though.
Devil was good, but he only produced that one.
Yeah, I think you and I saw that one in Milwaukee actually.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so you said Usual, I said Seven, you said Sixth Sense. All right, you're gonna have one of these on here. Memento.
No,
Really?
nope. I enjoy that one still.
Oh, I still enjoy it, but I mean, so
No, but
I think
I
we
watched.
took one shot a little differently. The impactfulness is gone for me.
Okay, maybe. I've even watched that because I have a DVD where you can watch it
For
chronologically. That ruins it, but I still can watch it and pick certain things out.
Memento, I bought off you when you were upgrading.
Yeah.
I think you bought the one where you could play it the other way, so you sold me
Yeah.
yours. That it was a great. Don't get me wrong. I could if you put it on. If you were here and you're like, let's watch it, I'd be like, yep, let's watch it. But it doesn't.
I mean,
It doesn't have the same impact anymore.
that one I could allow for more than 7, but
I would agree with you on that. Because what you said about Seven, I don't actually necessarily disagree with you. I think you had a very valid point. I think you just feel stronger about it than I do. But Memento, like the whole Carrie Ann Moss part, and she did a phenomenal job. I am not ripping on her. In fact, if anything, I'm complimenting her on it. That impact is now gone because of the impact I took from it the first time I watched it. And to anyone who is listening, they're like, she's great. She is great. I'm not ripping on her. I mean, the fact that she did her job correctly means that it did work that way for me, in my opinion.
scenes in there and they're like huge.
Yeah. Um. All right. What else you got?
The Game,
The Game. The
Michael
game.
Douglas.
Oh, and Sean Penn.
Yep.
Even though he's a d bag. The Oh my God, good call. That was a good movie.
Was, but once you know the end, the whole you can't watch it because you're like, okay, none of this is real. None of it, even the stuff that looks like it's insane.
You know what's funny is I don't remember the end. I mean,
Yeah,
I know the gist of the end. That was a good movie. I forgot about that movie. Damn,
yeah,
that
it's good. Like
that
I
was a
said,
quality movie.
once you know the ending, when you're watching, you're like, okay, none of this is intense anymore.
Yeah. That it's kind of like it's almost like Game Night as a spoof of it.
Kind of, yeah, kind of feels that way.
I mean, I like Game Night. I thought it was
Oh,
Bateman
hilarious.
doesn't do wrong in my eyes. Um
Game is hilarious.
God, that was good. Damn, I am actually a little surprised. Was that your That's not your last one though.
That would be my third one.
I only got one left besides honorable mention, so
Wait, how is that possible?
because we both had
Oh, that's right.
usual
Technically, I do have because we did have both have Sixth Sense,
and usual suspects.
Usual Suspects.
Yeah, and you called both of those. Um, well, you know what? I'll say mine anyways because I have two honorable mentions.
I don't have any honorable mentions on this one, though.
Yeah,
But
so I'll go ahead and say mine. The Prestige.
with no, yeah,
Hugh
Jackman.
Jackman and
Okay,
uh,
explain. I
uh,
don't agree with explain.
well, because once
I
you
don't mean I
know,
don't agree. Don't agree wholeheartedly.
well, all right. So anyone who hasn't seen The Prestige, once again, skip ahead a minute and go bookmark that shit because it's amazing. Because I must spoil it. The whole twin thing.
But I think it's good for a second viewing just to see where that switch is made.
But remember, I took one shot a little differently because I
That's
do
right.
think that watching it the second time, like my one shot is it didn't have the same impact. The second watching is curiosity now to put it together.
I don't know. That's one of those that I could probably still watch no matter what. I don't watch it often, but
Oh, I've seen it like six or seven times. I can rewatch anything though.
I guess the one shot thing is kind of falling apart. But we'll stick with it to the end.
Well, and I think maybe we had a misinterpretation. When I said one shot, I meant like the impact is gone. It doesn't mean you can't watch it again. It just means that initial impact of what it did is gone because
Gotcha.
you didn't see that surprise. Um, because the whole thing where and the thing is you figure out he's a twin before they reveal it. At least I did. I'm like, oh, all right, I get it. But even at that moment when I predicted it in my head, I'm like, damn it, that's good. And then the whole part with Hugh Jackman killing himself over and over again. There was a two twister in that one.
Yeah, it kind of was when he because that first time the clone shoots him, he shoots the original guy.
Yeah, yeah, it's insane.
It's pretty. Yeah, that's a good movie though.
It so that's kind of yeah. So my one shot was more of uh just
Just to
doesn't
watch
have the
all
same
the impact
punch.
is gone.
Yeah, because my problem is I can almost unless it's horrible, I can watch movies multiple times. Hell, it can even be horrible and I can watch a movie multiple times. I'm just weird that way. Um, which is probably why I don't always remember movies like The Visit. My God, that's right. That was a good movie. I forgot about that.
That
It
was
was
like his small little comeback.
Yeah, it was kind of a slow burn, but every time it burned, it really was good.
Yeah,
I want to watch it again now. I forgot all about that. I remember seeing that in the theater too. When did that come out? 2015. So it's 7 years old already. That's so weird to think that's 7 years old already.
no kidding.
Yeah. Damn, that was a good movie. All right. What you got?
We talked about this one before, but Fallen with Denzel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a one-time watcher. You know
Not
what?
because I don't care for the movie a lot, but once you know that at the beginning that voiceover,
Yeah.
it's
I've seen it more than once, but it's definitely a one shot. It's I liked it though, but I think we've talked about this. Denzel's probably the actor of our generation. He that
I think the twist ruins the entire movie.
Do you really?
Yeah, I don't care for it.
I feel like I need to watch it again. That's the nice thing about being senile and old. I don't remember everything.
Everything's new.
All right. So one of my honorable mentions.
I think that was my last one, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll say both of them, I guess, but I'll do one at a time because this one I'm not sure how you're going to react to it. All of the screams. Keep in mind in my thought process of one shot because
No, I watch those all the time.
no, but that's the thing. You got to remember the
The impact of it, like the
yeah, the one
stopping,
shot impact. Yeah,
maybe. Like,
well, I mean
like
the Matthew
or Steve,
Lillard and Skeet Ulrich part. Once you know
that
that,
one, but the ones with the two killers, it's kind of fun to go back and see if you can figure out who's killing who. Like which one of them is the killer at that time.
yeah. See, and that's where I think our one shot was off because I was thinking more on the lines of the impactfulness because that's where I mentioned once again that's a great example of where it's the one shot impactfulness, but now you want to watch it again just to put things together like Seven.
Well, the fun part is like the first Scream, like they're sitting on the like right at like pretty much what 10 minutes, 15 minutes into the movie, they're sitting out in that they're having lunch outside that like that fountain.
Oh, outside the school?
Yeah, and they're sitting on the fountain and they're all talking.
Yeah.
And Matthew Lillard's character says, "I didn't kill anybody," and Skeeter says, "No one said you did." That right there outs them as the killers. But you're not paying attention to that, and then later on he gets stabbed. You're like, "Oh well, shit." Even if I was suspecting him, that's over. So I mean, it's kind of really good
I got to watch that again
writing.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah, so my one shot, yeah, it was a different interpretation.
that's
Cuz
all right. It still works.
yeah, it's still talkable. And then my other one, once again, keep in mind it doesn't mean that I didn't want to watch it again. It
Yes.
just meant the suspense. The Departed.
Yeah, that one I can see.
We saw that one at the Ridge, I think.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
spoiler, skip ahead a minute, and bookmark that shit. The well, one I like the whole. I like the thought that every time someone dies, there's a cross, so that gives you some replay value there. Like when the person's falling off the building, all the windows have crosses on them.
yeah.
But the impact one, when DiCaprio gets decapitated,
Well, shot in the head. Yeah.
yeah, did not see that freaking coming.
Oh, never.
That was because he's pretty much the main star throughout that movie, but
Yeah.
that got abruptly ended.
And then how you forget about Mark Wahlberg's character until the very end.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
They
he
just
gets
give him a glimpse, and then all of a sudden he's the main guy at the end.
they take him off the case, and like enough time passes where you forget that he's even there, and then yes, that's where he was.
That movie actually made me start liking Leonardo because I hated him prior to that. In fact, when we went to go see it, I didn't really want to see it, and then I was glad I did. Um, did we see that one twice or Prestige twice? Because we took Nickerson then.
I think we saw Prestige
I
twice.
think we saw that twice. Yeah.
'Cause it was
Uh,
about the same time those came out.
yeah, I think they were in the theater at the same time.
Yeah,
Because I think we did Prestige, Departed, Prestige again.
yeah,
Uh, we used to see a lot of movies at the Ridge. I think we saw the first reboot of Bond there, and um, tons of crap there.
yeah.
But yeah, yeah, the elevator scene is why I thought of Departed. Um,
I can see that.
just because, yeah. So for me, the one shot wasn't. I wouldn't watch it again. In fact, I've seen Departed a bunch of times. It's just
The
once you
impact.
know that's coming, that impact is completely well. It still hits you, but it just doesn't hit the same way because you just know what's coming. Um,
And the only one I really strongly disagree on is Seven.
yeah, and I get that.
I think it's worse. Than,
I just remember when Leonardo gets shot in the head though, and we were in the theater. I remember watching the screen going, "There's no way that didn't just graze him."
no
Like
kidding.
there's blood everywhere. I'm like, did this really just happen? Like it was just so out of left field. I was not ready
And
for it.
then the guy that shoots him gets shot by another guy that's a traitor. Like right after that.
Yeah, it was like there was no. Kind of reminds me of The Shield, the TV series,
Yeah,
where you knew that once somebody got too deep, there was no getting out of it. It
yeah.
wasn't like there was going to be any plot armor. You were screwed.
But
Um,
Plot doesn't exist when those shows and stuff are based in reality.
yeah, yeah. That was that a Scorsese film?
Departed, yeah.
That's what I thought. Was it one of his last ones?
He still does movies.
Does he really?
I mean,
I should pay
he did
attention.
Wolf of Wall Street.
I never saw it.
Oh my God.
I know everyone says that when I say that. I do want to say it. So there's certain, in fact, I think it's you who tells me I got to see these. There's a few Leonardo movies I want to see. Catch Me If You Can, still haven't seen that.
Oh, come on.
And Wolf of Wall Street. Well, you got to remember when Catch Me If You Can came out, I hated Leonardo DiCaprio.
You see The Revenant?
I have not seen that. I do want to see it.
Just go everything post Titanic and just start watching his stuff.
Maybe it was Titanic directed for me, which is
Titanic
funny.
was
Well, it's. I mean, I knew the ending already, which kind of sucked.
it takes forever to get there too.
Yeah. Well, that was the first date Angie and I ever went on, so I should like it to a certain extent. But yeah, so that was it. A complete misinterpretation of the top five.
Yeah, I still think it works. It still works.
It still worked, yeah. Well, my problem with is that I don't have a one-shot movie. It Usual Suspects is probably the closest, but other than that, if there's a movie that I dislike that bad, I'd never watch it again. It wasn't due to
Like I said,
surprise.
you don't even it doesn't have to be dislike. It could be like United 93. That just sucks the emotion out of you and you feel like you're dead. So you wouldn't want to watch that more than
I never watched it once. I didn't want to. I didn't want to put myself through that.
yeah, it'll leave you drained at the end of it. So it's not like something you want to sit down. I'll watch United 93. What the hell?
I need a pick me up. All right. What are we at? 21 minutes. That's not the worst. That's a nice short one. Let me hit stop here.